All right, we're back. I have my guest with me today, very big name in the spray foam industry. Also, someone who's a little hung up right now. Robert Cockerell of D&D Installation in, is it Fairfield, Texas?
Yes, sir.
All right. How's it going, Robert?
It's going pretty good. So, hobbled up right now, but hey.
Yeah, man, you had a bad accident.
Yes, sir.
So, you're on the fire department.
Yes, sir.
We're
I've
just
been
gonna
on some sort of fire department since right around 1993.
Oh wow, 30 years now, over 30 years.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
A few different ones.
yeah, a lot of local fire departments and stuff like that. I mean, I've had a few breaks here and there and stuff like that. Was on what we called a repair locker when I was in the Navy on a ship.
Oh yeah,
So
I was going to ask you about
I
the Navy.
continued it there, and I've always been interested in helping people. So I was like,
You
hey,
do a very good job of that. I think a lot of us in the spray foam industry, and especially a lot of us newer guys, definitely appreciate all the help that you give. It's very evident. So thanks.
yep.
So anyway, have they been all like volunteer?
For what I do, yeah, everything was volunteer except for the Navy. You know, everybody's trained in firefighting tactics in the Navy.
Mm-hmm. And what was that job in the Navy? What was that called?
Well, so my official title in the Navy was I was an aviation electronics technician. But when we had general quarters, which basically imminent threat to the ship, we would everybody would go to a designated station and stuff like that. And where I was on repair locker 1 Fox, which is forward part of the ship, and I was one of the host team.
Okay, what does that mean, hosting?
I was one of the guys that held the fire hose.
Oh, I got you. Okay. All right. So kind of going back, this would be the very first time that I've done I'm going to call it a Zoom style podcast. I'm not huge into like doing it this way because I know that if you're in person, you just kind of seem to be able to have better conversation and all that. But
You're more relaxed when you're in person with the other one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I thought about, man, one, it's hard when you just do them all in person because it's harder to get the people around the country. But anyway, and I heard about your accident on Spray Foam Worldwide, and I thought, man, it would be kind of nice to get him on here and tell us about it. So let's go ahead and just get right into that. So from the time you got the call, let's take me through it, because honestly, I don't really know much about it.
Okay, so about 4:30-ish, somewhere around in that area, in the afternoon, we got paged to a single vehicle wreck on the interstate.
Mm-hmm.
Vehicle was traveling northbound and ran into the cable barriers.
Oh, yep.
And stretched the cable barriers across the southbound lane, and the vehicle was laying on its side in the southbound ditch.
Oh, so it crossed all the way over. Okay.
Yeah. So, and people were still driving over them cables. So them cables already have enough tension on them because they're designed to be able to stop an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've got about 10,000 pounds of tension on them as it is, just sitting in a straight line.
Wow.
And people don't stop.
No.
So, we showed up on scene. We stopped all traffic. We assessed the situation. At first, we were letting them go over it single file slowly, and we seen how it was bouncing, so we stopped traffic again and went down to the anchor point because we've been taught how to release the tension. Well, we looked at it, seen how it needed to be, and I went to releasing the tension on it, and I was standing in the wrong position when it released, and the anchor point come back and hit me right in the leg and threw me back.
So like a concrete, is that what you mean? Like in the ground?
It- well, it's actually a two-piece metal I-beam.
Okay.
You've got one that's anchored in the ground, probably 10 foot, with about 6 inches standing up, and then the other part is uh, wedged in on top of that. Now, exactly how I don't know, but it's there. And we estimated that when it released, it had about 80,000 pounds of force on it when it hit me. So
Wow.
I'm extremely lucky and blessed that I'm here today to talk.
You are right, because if that hit you in the head or even in the torso or something, you could have been out.
Well, the first paramedic that was there, he was another volunteer firefighter. Uh, he looked at me and said that had I not been wearing regular blue jean pants and then my bunker gear on top of that, I probably would have lost my leg completely.
Because of the added cushion or something else?
Pretty much, yeah. The added protection, the double layer, is
Hmm.
what protected my leg from being severed.
Okay. Holy cow. So after you were hit, and so after that, you they pretty much just took you right, put you right in an ambulance and took you down.
No, actually, hold on, pardon me for a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, okay, sorry about that.
No problem.
Uh, so no, when I landed, I grabbed a hold of my leg and told my partner, I said I thought that something was wrong. So I held stability on my leg, uh, and he asked me. He said, "Do you think you broke it?" Uh, I wiggled my leg just a little bit. I could feel the bones move, and I was like, "Yeah, I broke it." So he called EMS in, and we've got a small hospital where we're at that's not equipped to handle uh, broken bones.
Okay.
So the ambulance on the way to us immediately launched a helicopter.
Oh wow.
So we have a partner, an agency that is stationed right here, uh, down about 15 miles of us. That they keep a helicopter there at all times. So they had me all packaged up, ready to go. When the helicopter landed, they threw me in the helicopter and then took me over to Waco.
Jeez. Um. So you get there. They run. You're probably in just an insane amount of pain. I can't, because what is it? It's well, you can get into that. Which what actually happened? But you're probably just in it. I can't even imagine how much that would hurt.
Surprisingly, looking back on it, there wasn't a whole lot of pain. It
Really?
happened so fast. Uh, pardon me for a second. Melody, they're here.
We got pizza coming.
No, there's a little girl that's doing a fundraiser for her school,
Oh
and
yeah.
they're coming over. They're walking from the other side of town because the town I live in only has about uh, right at 300 people.
Oh okay.
So they walk from the other side of town over to here, and we're going to be buying some Texas Roadhouse rolls from them.
Oh, there you go. Hey, at least they're selling you something. Because I tell
Yep.
you, like nowadays, it seems like all they do is just ask you for money. They're just like,
Yeah.
"Hey, will you just donate money to my." Even my nephew, he was, they sent out like a robo text, and it was like, "Will you help him out with his, skiing thing?" And I'm like, "Whatever happened to like overpriced cheese and car washes and like sausage and cookies and like that sort of crap? Like, you guys don't even have to work for it. I mean, what are we teaching our kids here?"
I know it. I know it. So,
Okay, so back to the hospital.
but no, surprisingly, when I look back over everything, they it didn't hurt. When it initially happened, I guess it was the shock of it or whatnot. Uh, Now, granted, when EMS got there, they started giving me pain meds and everything. Uh, but my real pain didn't set in until I was sitting in the ER. and they took the initial X-rays.
I
And
bet.
after the X-rays, because they had to manipulate my leg
Mm-hmm.
to be able to get the different
Angles.
shots and stuff, my muscles tensed.
Mm.
And brothers, let me tell you, that is a pain. When they ask you for a 1 to 10 scale, no, this was a 20. I
Wow.
guarantee you it was a 20.
When the muscles started kind of contracting.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it was horrendous.
and how long?
So
What day was this?
this was Wednesday, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, 2 weeks ago today.
Yeah, two
Yeah.
weeks ago today. Yeah, at this time I was sitting in the ER. Or well, no, actually at this time right now I was in the air headed to.
Yeah.
So that
So
was one thing that was on my bucket list was make a helicopter ride. I just didn't want to make it as a patient.
that's not the helicopter ride you want. No, for
But
sure.
it was still cool.
Yeah, I
It was
bet.
still, it was still cool.
And
So
so it's is it a femur and a what is it?
no, no, it was below my leg. The
Below
two bones
your
below your leg
knee.
or your knee.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the
Those
tibia and
those two,
fibula.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I broke that once too, but probably not nearly as bad as you.
yeah,
Uh when I was about 17, I jumped a fence and I was too high and I broke it between where those two bones kind of come up to the knee and they kind of connect at just below the knee.
yeah.
Kind of put a split right down that. So it was like two again. But
Oh,
anyway, probably
yeah.
not near as bad as yours. I definitely not as
Well, from what I've been told, that if you said it didn't actually break in two, that's a green stick fracture.
yeah.
And those actually hurt worse than a complete break.
Really?
Yep, that's what I've been told.
Wow.
Yeah,
So I think you said on Facebook that you're all taken care of as far as medical bills, all that sort of
yeah.
stuff. That's all with the fire department and all that sort of thing. That I bet you that helicopter ride was probably I can't even imagine what was a helicopter ride cost 20
I'm
grand.
gonna. I haven't seen the bill, but I'm going to estimate it was probably 20,
Yeah,
25.
it's an expensive one.
Oh yeah, they're not cheap at all.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Oh wow. So you're hung up, and what are you doing to pass the time?
twiddling my thumbs and going crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
So, about every 3 days, the wife lets me get out. So
She lets you
we
go sleep.
actually got out a little bit today, and went by the shop. She had a few errands to do, and then we went to Walmart, and then we went to eat. Uh, then
Nice.
on the way back home, I actually stopped in one of our neighboring towns and visited with the paramedic that was
Oh, nice.
first on scene. So we've been talking back and forth. He's been checking up on me almost every day.
Did
So
you know this person before the accident, or is it?
yeah, he's on one of the neighboring fire departments,
Mm-hmm.
and we've worked together quite often on different fire calls and stuff like that. When we get calls on the interstate, they're automatically paged.
Right.
So we have a lot of mutual aid agreements between the departments and stuff like that because our department's small. We've got 7 members on our fire department.
Whoa, that is small.
Yeah.
Real small.
Yep.
So that the ambulance was en route before you even got hurt, right?
No, no, the ambulance was not en route.
Oh,
So
I would have
yeah,
thought they'd have been en route because of the car accident.
no, because nobody was hurt.
Oh,
Up until I got hurt, nobody was hurt. So
gotcha.
the guy was out and walking around and stuff like that. And that's
So, oh, sorry. Go
that's
ahead.
kind of one of them issues that we run into because when it was all said and done, found out that this guy had multiple offenses in illegal driving,
Oh,
no
nice.
driver's license, no registration, no insurance, and multiple tickets for all of it. Plus, he was an illegal alien.
Oh, even better. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So
So he's in a ton of hot water right now.
They threw him in jail. I don't know if he's still there or not. I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it's going to be. I don't know if it would be worse because you got hurt on the scene, or would that not really count?
So when I talked to some people, they said that the DPS was looking at every statute to see if they could pin this on them, and they couldn't find anything. So, I
Okay.
mean, getting hurt doing what I'm doing is an inherent risk.
For sure.
You know, going into a burning building, stepping into a hole, any of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's an inherent risk, just like in spray foam. You know,
Yeah.
us guys are crawling around in rafters all the time,
Yeah.
and you don't realize how much danger you actually put yourself into.
Yep.
Uh, and if we were to follow everything to the letter, nothing would ever get done.
That's for sure. Yeah.
So, and I hate to say it that way, but I mean that's true.
Yep. Yep.
You
There's a
know,
there's a point where there's like you're doing everything so safely that it doesn't even make
yeah,
sense.
it'll hinder you and stuff like that. Which
Mhm.
was one of the neat things that I found out, about like OSHA.
Mhm.
You know, OSHA does not protect me. OSHA cannot even touch me as an owner.
Really?
Yep.
Oh. Oh,
If
because nobody's
they could be
making money
standing on
off of you.
on the job site, and I could do anything I want that is as hazardous as anything can be. They cannot say anything because I own the company.
Right.
Now, my employee, on the other hand,
Yep.
if they do one thing wrong, they can nail me to the cross.
Yep.
So OSHA's there to protect the employee, not the owner.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's to fight, abuse of employers
Yep.
abusing their
Yep.
employees, instead of, making sure that they go home at night. And if you want to abuse yourself for your own gain, then they're like,
Yeah.
well, go ahead and do whatever you want to,
And I never knew that until just a few short years ago. But I had always, if there was a hazardous situation, I would put myself in that position before I would let anybody else do it.
Yeah, that's
You know,
honorable. Yeah. I mean, then you
so
should. Yeah.
I've always thought of everybody else's safety before mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a very honorable thing, obviously.
Yeah.
Hey, while we're talking about the cable guardrails, there was a time where I had a very strong opinion about those.
I
Um,
mean,
yeah.
I'd rather see the Jersey rails up,
What are those?
the concrete barriers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those are called Jersey barriers.
Yeah,
So because they were developed in New Jersey.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, when I was this is it's probably pushing 16 years ago, I would guess, when I started noticing them start to pop up in Michigan.
Yep.
And I'm looking at these things going, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's some areas on the interstates, the highways, whatever, that have a kind of a small median, a small ditch.
Yep.
And so I can kind of see what the whole idea behind it is. But yeah, you if you're on a motorcycle and someone cuts you off and you hit that, you got no chance of trying to save yourself.
Oh
But
yeah. No, you're 100% right on that. And I've seen cars that have hit that and it completely demolished their car.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And if there would have been the concrete barrier, they would have bounced off of it. Everything would have been safe.
Yeah. Well,
But
go ahead.
uh, it's not designed to protect the vehicle.
Hmm.
That's not what they're there for. They're designed to protect the average vehicle from going on into oncoming traffic.
Right.
It's
Right.
designed to entangle you in
Right.
some sort of way.
Right. Yep. But yeah, back then when they were putting them all in, I mean the dollars, the amount of money that it cost to install it all, and then the amount of money it costs to keep it up, because every
Yeah,
time the car hits it, they got to do all this work to probably restretch these cables, do all this work, to do it. And I'm just looking at it like I see your point. It's like you're saving some issues from happening, but then you're creating new issues.
yeah,
And in Michigan, we have snow in the winter, and it is very, very common to just kind of slide out. Let's say you just kind of you catch a piece of a patch of ice, you slide out, and you just go in the ditch. And a lot of times there would be no damage to your vehicle because you just coast into the median or coast into the other side or whatever, and all they got to do is haul it out. I mean, I've been in one of those before.
Yeah.
My cousin was driving a truck, and it had no weight in the back, and it was a 2-wheel drive, and he just spun right out, and we were stuck in the ditch, and there was no damage at all to the truck. Just
Yeah.
needed to get pulled out, and that was good. But I'm like, now with these cables, you got tons of damage to trucks, or I mean vehicles, and which that's got to drive up insurance a little bit because now they have to deal with paying to get a vehicle fixed, where in the past they didn't need to. It was
Yeah.
just a simple tow out. So yeah.
But kind of on the flip side, about 20, 25 years ago, I don't remember exactly when, there was an 18-wheeler that the guy had a medical episode. It happened a little bit north of us, but he had a medical episode, heart attack or something, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But he was headed south on the interstate and veered off, went across the northbound traffic, went across the service road, and was about an eighth of a mile into the tree line and stuff like that.
Wow.
He succumbed to whatever medical episode he was on and stuff like that. But it took them, I think, 2 days to get the truck out.
Whoa.
Because it was so far in. So in situations like that, that cable barrier would have happened. Yeah. Would it have caused a lot more damage? Yes. Surprisingly, the guy didn't lay the truck down. We're all scratching our head over that one with everything. But with any safety thing, there's good and there's bad with it.
Right.
So you have to outweigh. It's a lot like seatbelts. You've got your 4 different scenarios with seatbelts when you get into a vehicle accident. Wearing a seatbelt, survive. Wearing a seatbelt, dying. Not wearing a seatbelt, surviving. And not wearing a seatbelt, dying.
Yeah.
And of those 4 scenarios, wearing a seatbelt, you stand a higher chance of living wearing the seatbelt than you do any of the other 3 situations. That's why the seatbelt laws came into play.
Yeah. So you're a motorcycle rider also, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have 2 Honda Valkyries.
Oh, nice.
It's a hot rod gold wing is what it is.
Oh, okay. So what's your, speaking of seatbelts, what's your position on helmets?
I wear mine quite often, but there are times I don't wear a helmet. So when I'm putting around and stuff like that, I don't. But if I'm going any kind of a distance, I'm wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
Which is ironically just opposite of what it should be. When you're going a long distance, you stand more of a chance of not getting into a wreck than you do local. Majority of the wrecks happen within 25 miles of your home.
Mm-hmm.
And, it seems kind of crazy, but most people don't leave 25 miles from home.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because you're spending most of your time within 25 miles. I mean, you might go out, but it's not going to be near as much time.
Because usually you go on 25 plus miles out. It's some type of excursion, and it's a family thing and stuff.
Right.
Us as play farmers, we're a little bit of an exception, because we go 50, 60 miles every day easily.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So your company is D&D Installation.
My current company.
Your current company. What's that mean?
Yeah. So my dad started this company in 98.
Okay.
He got into spray foam 2006. I went to work for him in 2008. And I worked for him for about 7 years, and we kept butting heads quite a bit. So we split ways, and I went up just south of Fort Worth and landed a job up there. Worked up there for quite a few years. Uh, and my boss one day got upset with a piece of with one of the rigs that we had because it was constantly breaking,
Mm-hmm.
and I was the guy that was always having to fix it.
Lovely.
We had worked out a deal when I got hired on because it was so far away from me. It was 120 miles one way from my driveway to their driveway. So I actually lived on premises during the week and came home on weekends. So I was always fixing the equipment. That was basically my rent.
And what time period was that again?
2012 to 2000. No, 2013 to 2000, somewhere around in that area.
Okay.
Maybe 2015. I don't remember the exact dates of when I started to work there. But like I say, he got mad at a rig that was constantly breaking down, and there was no thought from me when I said it. Uh, I wasn't even expecting to say it, but I was like, "Well, just sell it to me then." And he looked at me. He said, "Okay, give me $2,000 down. I'll finance it, and it's yours." And I was like, "Oh boy, what did I just jump into?" Because I was not at that time. I really didn't have an aspiration of being a business owner.
Okay.
So I mean, it just kind of fell into my lap, and you know, when that all transpired, I got to thinking, I live 15 miles from my dad.
Okay.
I didn't want to compete head to head against him. Uh,
Right.
and in 2018, I was introduced to spray foam worldwide. So that was the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year is when I bought the rig.
Okay.
Uh, so you know, at that time, I was kind of sort of getting a little bit of a name for myself in the group. So when I got the rig, I just put out there, have rig will travel. You know, if
And
you're a spray
what
foam
does that
company
mean?
that needs help, I'll come and help you.
Oh, nice.
I represent you on the job site. Use your chemical, my equipment. So, and it started from there. I had a few hiccups and stuff like that. Dan Mothershed was the first one to really take a chance on me, and it actually took a while for me to actually make it out to him because it seemed like every time I was getting ready to go out to him, something would happen.
Oh,
You know,
yeah. So he's a
the
patient man.
well, the first time, the day before I was supposed to go out to him, the first time I lost an axle on the trailer.
Ooh.
So I was like, okay, well, I can't make it out there. I got to stay local, save up some money, get my axle replaced. The second time, I was on my way to him, got about 2 hours away from home, and I lost the other axle.
Oh my goodness.
So I had to limp all the way back home and stuff like that. And I finally got home, was talking with him and everything, and told him, I said, tomorrow morning, I'm going to go up there to the trailer place we deal with, and I'm going to get a new axle, and then I'll be on my way. On my way to the axle place, what happens? I blow the other tire on that axle. So I'm really limping. So yeah, I mean, it was a nightmare. And then he's like, man, I don't know. I think God's just saying it's not the right time for you to come this way. I was like, okay. Well, uh, I said, if I can get this axle installed by noon, I'll go up there. Well, the trailer place that didn't have the axle in stock, so they had to go to one of their suppliers and get it because it was a custom.
Oh yeah. It's always a
Their
custom.
truck breaks down on the way to go get the axle.
Your truck broke
So,
down?
no, their truck
Oh.
going to get the axle. So, when I finally got it installed, it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I called him up and I said, man, I said, the cards are just not right now.
Yeah.
So,
Did you
but
become
what's that?
Did you become friends with Dan since then?
Oh, yeah. I've been out to Dan's multiple times.
Oh yeah.
So the first time I actually got to spray for him uh, was right after the 2019 SPFA convention in Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
I was working in Florida at the time. Left my trailer at that guy's place. Went to SPFA, uh, and then from there, uh, the first person, won the giveaway rig. Well, I offered to haul it back to Texas, which is where he was from.
Mm-hmm.
So I haul it all the way back to Texas, and then turn around and go all the way back to Florida, pick up my trailer, go up to Tennessee, and
Oh,
go work for Dan.
that is a lot of driving.
It is. But you know what? Every time he's been very welcoming. I've enjoyed his friendship that has blossomed from it. And I've watched him grow into the company that they are,
Mm-hmm.
watched him grow as a man. So,
Yeah, I've tried to get him on the podcast. It's been kind of hard because he grew up from where I'm sitting right now. He probably grew up 45 minutes from here, maybe
yeah,
maybe an hour. And
I
so
think,
he comes
yeah,
up all
because,
the time for the Michigan games and all that. And I'm like, hey,
yeah,
next time
oh,
you're up here, let's get one in.
yeah,
And
he is a
still trying.
huge Michigan fan.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Mhm.
and Robin grew up not too far from you either.
I just found that out. Not that like maybe in the last few weeks. Somewhere around the Detroit area.
Yep. Yeah, she if I remember correctly, she said she spent quite a fair amount of time on 8 Mile.
Oh, okay.
So
And I'm
I don't know that for a fact, but
yeah,
she grew up right in that area.
yeah.
So,
I I'm near Detroit right now. And where are we, Jeremy? What or Jamie? Southfield. That's what I thought. I wasn't sure.
yeah,
I thought it was South. I didn't. Yeah, it's kind of west of Detroit area, but I
yeah.
don't spend that much time out in this side of the state, so I don't really know the areas super good. I come out here every now and
The closest now I flew into the airport in Detroit when I was in the Navy
then. Oh
because
yeah.
because my original duty station was supposed to be in over in Japan. Well, when I
Okay.
got there, got on the ship that I thought I was going to be stationed on, they said, "No, your orders got changed, Norfolk, Virginia." So I had to fly from Japan all the way back to the States, and my layover
Yeah,
was in Detroit.
and that's the gist of it.
Yep.
Your time in
And
Detroit.
I tell you, it is so weird uh, that you take off from Japan and fly to the States, and when you land on the ground, it's earlier than when you took off
Oh,
on
I
the
bet.
same day.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, because I took off at like 11 o'clock in the morning in Japan, and when I landed in the States, it was 10 o'clock the same day.
And you probably flew like over like
It was like 16
Arctic
hours.
Circle or something. Is that where do you know your flight path?
I don't remember what my flight path
Oh, I think
was.
sometimes they fly like over like the Arctic Circle to get because it's a lot. It's like actually less distance
Yeah,
go to go that route than like go across.
yeah, I know it's crazy to realize that.
Detroit is Detroit is an interesting place right now with the Lions.
Yeah,
There's
I
been
heard that they're
so
doing real good.
really really good. I
Yeah,
mean, and they've never in my lifetime ever been good.
yeah.
There's
I seen something on Facebook the other day. I think it was what was it, Colin?
Cowherd.
Yeah,
Yeah. What was he saying?
yeah. He's like, I have never said this about them. They are the powerhouse of the NFL right now.
Yeah, they're picked to go to the Super Bowl.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it.
I would too. It would be kind of fun. It definitely would.
I wish that when Calvin was in, that they'd went
Did you know
because
I sprayed for him?
no kidding.
I sprayed for Calvin Johnson. Yeah, yep. When he got out of the NFL, he got out because he was
Upset.
he was hurt. He was just in so much pain, and he never really did like smoke, like did weed. He never did cannabis, but he started to do that a little bit because to alleviate the pain, and it was kind of the same time that Michigan was. Well, we've been medical for a long time, but for about maybe 15, 12 years maybe now, and then it went recreational, and that was about the time that he got out, and so he started to get into growing, and he's got his own brand and all that, and I was hooked up with some people because we were doing all kinds of grow rooms back in the 2020 21 19 20 21, yeah, something like that. Tons of grow rooms. Every spray foamer in the state was busy with them. And so I would have been working for some guys, and then they hooked me up, and I sprayed a little bit for one of his places. Nicest place I'd ever seen. I mean, it was like a hospital. It was like really, really clean and nice. But and I saw him there. In fact, I didn't even know I was at his place until I saw this guy, and it was just like it was this really big black guy, and it just really didn't seem, just kind of seemed out of place, kind of. And then someone says to me, "Hey, did you see that dude over there?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You know who that was?" And I remember them talking a little bit about doing some work for Calvin Johnson, and I was like, "Oh, that was Calvin Johnson, wasn't it?" And they're like, "Yeah." So then, probably a few months later, he had something in his house, like a downspout fell off, and he had this weird wall in his basement, like this round wall in his basement. And yeah, they set me up to go to his house, and that was really weird because he just got this knock. They call it the knock. It's like Publishers Clearinghouse, where someone comes to your house and knocks on your door and surprises you to get into the Hall of Fame. And they do it with all the guys that are getting in, that are about to be inducted. And so they knocked him and surprised him and all that stuff. And I'm like, so I was kind of researching him a little bit because I knew I was going to his house. And then I was, a couple days later, there I was on that same front porch, knocking on his door.
Yeah.
It was surreal. It was pretty cool. It was really cool. And my nephews are big fans, so I got him to sign some stuff. And it was a real small job. I was only there for about 2-3 hours.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that if he had been on, say the 49ers, the Cowboys, Philadelphia, he would have surpassed Jerry Rice.
Oh yeah.
He had that much potential because of his sheer size and athleticism.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a beast. They call him Megatron for a reason, right?
Yep.
I don't know where that came from. But.
To be a highlight reel on one of the worst teams, and not just a highlight for goofing and stuff like that, but true top 10 Sports Center highlights.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I it'd be cool if he was able to, if he would have been able to stay on the team through all this, because this is success. They're 7-1 right now, and I'm not even a huge football fan. I'm really not. But I mean,
I don't watch sports. I don't watch any sports.
Is it the same reason I don't?
Well,
it's too woke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, well, I stopped watching sports, or stopped really getting into it, a number of years ago, and slowly been pulling away from it and stuff like that. But when they started kneeling during the anthem, I shut the NFL down, and then about 7 or 8 years ago, I stopped watching all TV.
Oh yeah.
So
you're like me though, and I know you spend a ton of time on your phone because I see it.
Oh yeah.
Like me, I don't watch TV anymore. I'm on my phone all the time.
Well, at one point in time, I was stalking Spray Foam Worldwide so much that nobody could post without me knowing it. I mean, that's how bad it got for me. You
No,
know,
I gotta tell you a funny story about you. At the at the last Spray Foam Worldwide event in Vegas, I don't know if you noticed me or you just seen it around or anything, but I dressed up as anonymous member. Did you notice that? Did you not?
no, I did not notice it.
You should look at if you can get into the Spray Foam Worldwide, the yearbook that John made. It's in there,
Yeah,
but
we've
it's a
got it.
huge book. So, oh, you do? I got a hard copy too.
Yeah,
It's in there. It's in one of the corner pages, probably about halfway to 2/3 way back. Look
yeah,
around. I had my wife make this shirt that has the logo of like the guy, the hat, and the glasses. You know what I mean? The logo
yeah.
of like and then it just said anonymous member on a T-shirt. And so then I also wore like some round glasses and one of those style hats, and I just had a lot of fun with it. But then Bill and Lisa, they're like, oh, they saw me and they're like, that's cool. And Lisa says, you got to show that to Robert Cockerell. You have to show that to him because I guess that you must get pretty upset about all the people that are doing that all the time. So,
Well, I get upset with the abuse
yeah.
of it.
Oh, I know.
There's a lot of times, a lot of the posts that are legitimate about it. Um, and in the group, there's a lot of ebb and flow.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
Sometimes, you know, some of the some of the anonymous posts are actually by the admin team.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Okay.
that seems kind of surprising, but they do it intentionally to start a conversation about one particular type of
Oh,
subject
so
and
there's
stuff.
no malice. It's just that they're just
Yeah, in
commenting.
in that sense, there's no malice, but some of them, you know, when they post anonymous, you know, well, I've got this issue, and it's an issue that you know if you sit back and you think about it for just a half a second, you know the answer, even if you're a new guy. You know, like you know, uh, there was one the other day that a guy asked. He's like, "Well, what size wrench do I need for the Y strainer?" We can't, nobody
Figure it
can
out.
answer that
Yeah.
because the Graco machines, the PMC machines, they're not the same size.
Yeah.
And then even within that, the different series runs have different sizes. I've
Well,
seen
and
some
it's
that
just
were
so easy to
7/8.
figure out.
Huh?
I said, and it's just so easy to figure out.
Yeah,
Like,
it
on its own,
is.
like, it's not like something you need to go to the internet for. Just
Yeah,
start going through your wrenches and figure out which one fits,
yeah.
right?
I mean, I've seen one that was a 7/8 size. I've had one that was an inch and an eighth. I've got one that's inch and 5/16. So that's three different sizes right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, uh, but in that same sense, that guy should have known,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
It can't
or at least should have some sort of tools to be able to figure it out.
Yeah, I can see it being, it is somewhat beneficial to have the opportunity to option for the anonymous member. But yeah, it's just like anything, I suppose it can be abused, you know.
Well, and I've seen it in like spray foam employment, that group. An anonymous member post, "My company's hiring." No, your company's not hiring because nobody knows who your company is. You know, if if you have to hide your name to say that you're hiring, unless you are a governmental entity and doing highly classified work, you should never hide behind your name
Yeah,
on
I
on the
wonder
hiring side.
I
You know,
wonder if they're, like, worried about the local competition. They wanna, like, do some cherry picking throughout the local competition, but
that,
they don't wanna be held accountable for it or whatever.
yeah,
'Cause then all of a sudden, like, they lose, "Oh, Mike's gone now. Where'd he go? Oh, he probably went to the guy who was, down the road or something that was asking
yeah,
for," but
So
yeah.
some of the anonymous posts of guys looking for work, I can understand those because they may be currently employed and they don't want their boss to know that they're unhappy there
Right.
and
Exactly.
stuff like that. So I can understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
So
but
you've been a big part of the SPFA for the last little while too, haven't you?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first SPFA was 2019, and didn't have a clue what I was doing when I got there, and somehow got roped into helping with the field testing.
Mm-hmm.
And every year since, I've been part of the field testing.
Tell me about that. Like, what are you looking for the most? Just like when you're doing that.
So during the field testing, you're basically going from making sure that the sprayers know how to read the SDSs,
Mhm.
you know, uh, all the safety parameters and stuff like that. They go through rig startup and shutdown. Uh, they do a spray foam application. Uh, they do on the wall side, or the interior side, should I say. Uh, you show competency on spraying an intimesic coating and to the correct thickness. Um, they'll do some spraying on the roofing side to make sure that you know you're not looking at tsunami waves and stuff like that. Uh, and then correct thickness on the coatings for that. Uh, how to inspect tools and just different things like that.
Okay.
So they want to be able to make sure that because the field exams are to get your master installer license.
Right.
So which is top tier as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
So you have that.
basically
You
you're
have
the
that.
job lead. You've got to know what's going on all aspects.
Yeah. Are you a
You
master
know
installer too?
what's that?
Are you a master installer as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm a master installer, project manager. I think I took project manager. I had to look at my paperwork again. I can't remember. Uh, uh, Field examiner. So got my field examiner last year. So didn't realize
Okay.
I'd had everything already taken care of. I just didn't have somebody to sign off on me. So
Okay.
when we were
Yeah.
in Vegas, I had somebody sign off on me.
Yeah. So right now, obviously you're not doing anything except sitting at home. But
Yeah.
when you get back to work, are you a one man show, or you got some guys, or what?
So when I bought Dad out a little over 3 years ago, I inherited all of his employees.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
uh, going back to what we were talking about earlier, when I bought that rig from my employer, uh, and started going over the road for hire and stuff like that, uh, I did that for about 3 years,
Hmm.
uh, and basically proved to myself and proved to my family around me that I could make it.
Yeah.
Uh, and then in 2021, yeah, it was 21. Uh, I approached my dad at the beginning of the year. I was like, "Listen, you've turned 70. It's time for you to retire. So let me buy you out." You know, and I wanted to do it above board so that way there wasn't no real animosity between me and any of my siblings.
Oh yeah. That's good.
So, but I inherited all of the employees. We took over July 4th of 21.
Oh
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
yeah, for sure.
So, but
So how many is that then?
uh, we've got,
Or how many is it now? How many people work there now?
I think we're at, let's
Excuse
see,
me.
including me and the wife, it's 9.
Oh wow. So is work getting done right now with you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
I've got 2 full-time sprayers.
Nice.
So, and my lead sprayer is, I think he's 20 years old right now.
Wow.
Uh, his dad started with my dad
Mm.
a year after I did. So, or 2 years,
So you know
2009, 2010, somewhere around in there. Um, and he was our lead sprayer for the longest time until he got to the point that he couldn't even hold up a gun anymore.
oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
That's,
he's almost 60 right now.
oh, okay.
So, uh, so we transitioned him over to our project manager and everything. So he makes sure that all the jobs run smoothly. And his son stepped up and took over and has become an outstanding sprayer.
Yeah, I saw
Uh,
I don't know, I saw some of your work you posted recently. It's beautiful.
yeah, they do good work, and I've been pretty impressed with them.
Yeah, good.
So then we just recently lost a sprayer. He decided to spread his wings and go elsewhere.
Okay.
So his helper actually stepped up.
Hmm.
And when his helper stepped up, uh, my son, uh, he's been with me since I started the gun for hire stuff. And when we bought the company, he was basically our floater and gopher for everything. We put him as his helper.
Nice.
So yeah, so I've got two full teams going. So I got hurt. We didn't miss a lick.
Good.
And then my brother is the salesman. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
yeah. So
What's your recovery? When are you hoping to be able to walk around without pain?
they say 6 to 8 months,
Whew.
but I'm not sure. I go in next week for my first follow up to see what kind of progress it's been.
Yeah.
So that'll be 3 weeks and stuff like that.
Mm.
Um, I anticipate that I'm still going to be. I'm thinking it's going to be closer to a year because I mean I'm almost 50 years old.
It usually is. It seems like some of these injuries, like they'll give you so much time, and then you give it that much time, and you're like,
Yeah,
but it still hurts. Like, was this even worth it? And then after another year or so, you're like, actually, this doesn't really hurt anymore. Seems like so.
yeah.
Anyway,
Well, I want to take it nice and slow
mm-hmm.
because one, I know if I heal right the first time, I won't have issues.
Yep. Yep.
I love the man to death, but Chris Keaton came
Yeah.
back to
Oh yeah. Did he have a bad injury too?
he's had some wrist injuries,
Oh yeah.
and
I feel
he
like he
came
put
back
something on.
slowly from that, so he had to have multiple surgeries because of that.
Okay. Wrist like from spraying foam. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's hard on the body. People don't realize that.
Oh
It's
yeah, it
hard on
is.
the body.
You
Man.
know,
I
it's
mean, I'm getting to the point in my shoulder like I can't like scratch my back like I used to, and
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, it's hard.
yep.
Um, I
It,
want to switch.
it's like I told my helper slash new sprayer now because we were spraying. He was rough. I mean, bad rough. I said, you've got natural people that can do it, from the get go. But the average person, it takes 6 months to train your hand to do what your brain wants it to do.
Yes.
Naturally.
Yeah, that's true. When to pull the trigger and release, and yeah, I know what you
Yeah.
mean. Get it where you're accurate and all
Yeah.
that. Let's switch gears a minute and talk about HFO.
Oh, uh, yeah.
Let's
So last year or the year before, I can't remember which, we got word that Texas was switching to HFO.
mm-hmm.
Uh, in 20, I think, it was 20, beginning of 24, we were supposed to be going to HFO. So we jumped ahead of the curve and we went ahead and went HFO.
Nice.
Uh, and my reasoning is, uh, yeah, it's a little more expensive, but we'll be ahead of the game. We won't be, trying to play catch up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I actually like it. Is it more finicky? Yes. But as fast as the advancements are being made in the industry now,
Very quickly.
it's mind boggling.
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago, you would have one formula you know, and that formula might have a summer, winter, or whatnot.
Yep.
But now, you know, this month you may have this formula. Next month you may have that formula.
I
You
know.
know, we're currently spraying Quadrant, uh, and absolutely loving it.
A lot of people love that stuff. Yep. I've heard
It's
that.
yeah, it's real good. You know, uh, we were spraying it before coal came on and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
So, and then when they hired Cole, I was like, yeah, they're golden. You know, if they
Yeah.
can learn that man, uh, you know, he's quite a bit younger than I am, but he is like way up here
Yeah. Yeah.
as far as knowledge. He's got more knowledge than I'll ever have.
He's a great asset to the industry for sure.
That is
Yeah.
so true. So
Well, and
true.
you got your buddy Dan there too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was actually one of the advocates for Dan.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Sure, you
Because
appreciate
at one point in time, I was actually talking with Cole about getting hired on. I've since decided that you know I was tired of the travel and stuff like that, so I didn't pursue it any further. But I told him, I said, this man would be a good asset for you, and I think they were already talking to him at the time anyway. But
Oh, so that might have been the nail in the coffin for
I
that one.
don't know. It may be, or you know, I just may
Yeah,
have been blowing smoke into thin air. Who knows?
could be.
But you know, I was extremely proud that he got on. I've known David Mize for quite a while, uh, so I mean, they've got a great group of technicians
Yeah.
that are extremely knowledgeable.
Yep.
You
You
know,
need that. You need that.
and you know, it's like sitting there watching. You know, the other day, Sean Gauthier,
Hmm.
you know, he was down in what was it, Puerto Rico, Cuba, wherever it
Yeah,
was
I think I
down
saw
there.
that somewhere. Wait, yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was Puerto Rico. I think.
And you know, then he's headed back up to Toronto. The people don't realize how hard it is to change mental gears from going to a subtropical
Hmm.
to way up there and stuff. Because I mean, they're on the same level as you are as far as climate, so because they're almost
Yeah.
directly due east of y'all.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, but you know, because down there in the subtropics compared to there, it's such different spray. You
Oh
know,
yeah, that's
you know,
true. Yeah, you're using a different
we've
formula.
seen,
It's
yeah,
hotter, it's more humid. It's yeah,
yeah.
lot of changes. Not in just even the drum temps might be what 20 degrees different or more. You
Oh
know.
yeah, oh yeah. You know, up
Mhm.
there in Canada, they're only allowed 2 inch thick passes. You know,
Yeah.
uh, but you know, we've had a lot of these back and forth in the group. You know, people saying, "Oh well, you should only ever spray minimum 2 inches." Maybe in your area. Here in Texas, we're the king of 1 inch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Well, you lose yield at 1 inch." Yeah,
So
you do.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
But you know, when they tell you that whatever chemical can get this many board feet out of a set of chemical, uh, they're basing it off of a board foot, which is 1 inch thick.
Oh, they're basing it off of 1 inch,
Yeah.
1 inch
So
passes. Oh, I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah, a one board foot in calculations is a 12-inch square,
Right.
12 by 12 by 1 inch thick.
Right.
That's a board foot.
But they're getting 4,000 board foot at 1 inch, is what you're saying.
Well,
Or are they
that's
getting
what they're
4,000 board foot
saying.
at 2 or 3 inches? I thought that's
But
right.
in reality, you're only getting 4,000 board feet if you're spraying 2 inches or more.
Yeah,
That's the honest truth.
for
You
sure.
know, at 1 inch, we're in reality. You know, the 2 pound foam is coming in at 2.1. You know, that type of stuff. Uh, you you're lucky to get 35 to 3,800 board feet.
Sure. Sure. All right, we don't have much time left. We got a couple more things we got to get to. One, we had a big election last night,
Yep.
and for a lot of people, it was a big win. That's the way I feel, at least.
Yeah, a lot of
Uh,
people, it was a big win. A lot of people, it seemed like it was a big loss.
uh-huh.
Uh, my candidate won.
My
I'm
candidate as
thankful
well.
for that. But, I don't know if you've been on Facebook or whatnot,
Oh yeah,
but, you know, I want to be respectful for the ones that didn't win
sure,
and, not rub it in their face
exactly.
because
Right.
they still deserve dignity.
Of course, and it's just it's just taking the high road, and it's that's the. I mean, if that's what we want to be, if we want to be conservatives, if we want to be Christian conservatives, if we want to, uh, you
Well,
know,
I look at myself more as a moderate conservative.
okay.
Um, and most of the moderate conservatives that I know didn't like Trump, couldn't
Oh yeah.
stand Trump, but
Sure.
we align more with his policies than we did Kamala's policies.
Well, and the thing is I mean, that's the thing. You have to go strictly off policies. There's so many people. It's like you've got to stop choosing someone because you think that you like them and you like their personality. You're never going to be best friends with this person.
The
Don't worry about
political,
that.
yeah, the political rhetoric between both sides and with all the social media has gotten so bad
Yeah.
that you really don't know what to believe anymore. I seen something the other day where somebody was posting as fact something that one of the candidates never said.
Oh yeah. Wait till
And
AI really gets big. It's going to get
yeah, I
really
know,
bad.
and that's what it was. That they posted it. It was supposedly that candidate talking and stuff like. They never said that. That was an AI thing.
Yeah.
Or it was they took a blank Twitter and retyped everything, you know, and you know,
You're
I,
very very right about the about just not being able to believe what you
yeah,
hear anymore. And that's sad. I mean, it wasn't like that when we were growing up in the 80s and
no,
90s and whatever. Like
we didn't have
if it was
social
on
media.
TV, it was probably fact
Yeah,
most of the time.
yeah,
Um,
we don't have a Walter Matthau anymore,
Walter Cronkite.
or
Yeah,
yeah,
Walter Matthau's the grumpy old men guy.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. Yep, we don't have that anymore. But all right, well, we only got a few more minutes. Let's do some fast questions, just kind of get to know
Okay,
you. How many SPFA conventions have you attended?
let's see, 1920. Uh, we skipped 21, so 22, 23, uh, 24. So I've been to five.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I've seen you around quite a bit. I've only started going to those in I think 22, I think was maybe my first
Yeah.
year. So, but I've seen you around and never got a chance to walk up and introduce myself. But I'm glad we at least got to do it today. So, I got to know each other a little bit. Where did you meet your spouse?
So, funny story behind that. We have a local convenience store down here in my hometown of Fairfield,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in on leave uh, and hanging out with my best friend. Well, uh, his his girlfriend at the time, I grew up with her. I was actually at the hospital when she was born. So she had her cousin down spending the night with them, stuff, and we met up. It was actually behind that gas station right after they closed. You know, 20-year-old kid, you know, goofing off, and we met. We started talking, uh, and at that time I was on my way to Japan. So I was like,
Mm.
okay, no big deal. We talked and stuff like that. We hung out. Nothing happened. Went to Japan. Lost contact with her.
Mm.
2 years later, I was talking to my best friend again at the time. He's like, guess who showed up and was asking about you? And I
Uh,
knew immediately who it was. So
oh, wow.
we took up our talking again, and we talked and we talked and we talked. And I was on the phone with her one day. It was beginning of September of '97, and just out of the blue, I was like, well, she was having some issues. I was like, well, why don't we just get married and I bring you out here? She's like, okay.
Oh, nice.
So I turned around and I went to my supervisor and said, I need to walk a leave chick now. He's like, it's 30 minutes until the end of day. It was 4:30 p.m. He's like, there ain't no way. I said, sign this and let me try. I walked it through in 15 minutes, what takes normally 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
I got lucky and caught everybody exactly where they were supposed to be at the right time.
Oh, wow.
I
So
came
you
back and I handed it to my leading petty officer, and his jaw hit the ground. He's like, I ain't ever seen that. I was like, I got lucky.
got 27 years then? Is that correct math?
27 years. We got married September
Wow.
14th, 1997.
Wow. Congratulations. That's a good long time.
Yep.
Let's do a real quick one and then we'll be done. What do you do that drives your spouse crazy?
Exist. So,
Uh,
no, I mean, I'm into ham radios and stuff like that. So, that's
oh,
an
yeah.
expensive hobby and stuff like that. But, you know, I pick on her. We have fun. That's how I drive her crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we'll get going. There's another podcast coming up at this studio afterwards, so we're on a time crunch. But man, I could have talked to you for at least another hour. We'll have to do it again sometime for sure.
all right,
And
man.
this sign that's behind me is everyone that's on signs it. So maybe in Daytona, I'll see if I can get it to you so you can do that as well.
Trust me,
Um,
I'll be there. Just find me over at the field exams.
I will do that. I will
Yeah,
do that.
I may
That's
still be crippled, but I will still be at the field exams.
all right. I'll know where to find you. All right, man. Well, thanks again. It's really been awesome getting to know you. It really has. And can't wait to meet you in person and just kind of hang out some more and get to know each other more.
All right, man.
Okay. Have a good night. See you, Robert.
You too, sir. Bye.
All right. Bye.